and welcome from Budapest. This is Hungary Reports from Public Media M1 with the latest news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin in English. I'm Árpád Szőci. Great that you can be with us. No one in Hungary has so far tested positive for the coronavirus, but authorities are still on high alert. Worldwide, more than 81,000 people are known to have contracted the disease, with more than 2,700 dying. And more coronavirus cases are now in Europe. The Hungarian government's operative board is continuously monitoring the situation and taking preventive measures. For example, it set up a call center that provides verified information via email as well as a 24-hour hotline.
Everyone arriving from Italy, China, or the Far East is examined at border crossings by the Hungarian National Ambulance Service. If anyone shows signs or symptoms of the virus, they will be isolated and, if needed, immediately transported to St. László Hospital in Budapest. At Budapest Airport, they first started screening those arriving from China since the end of January. And as of last Sunday, they've also been screening people arriving from northern Italian cities. Now it's also become necessary to screen those arriving from South Korea. There are 3 weekly flights from Seoul to Budapest. Since these measures have been put into place, only one individual, a Chinese woman, had a high temperature during the past month. Later, it turned out that she was not infected with the coronavirus, Katalin Valentini said. An operative board set up since the onset of the coronavirus has announced new measures, in addition to an already confirmed 28-point action plan. To help combat the virus, a call center is now in operation for anyone to call. The toll-free phone numbers can be called round the clock 24/7. The center can also be contacted by email at coronavirus@bm.gov.hu. Authorities are urging everyone to refrain from traveling to affected areas. We still don't suggest traveling to virus hotspots, especially to Italy, Kinga Lang-Bognár said. There are currently no cases in Hungary, but naturally the danger is there. If we receive news that someone in Hungary has been afflicted with the virus, we will immediately convey this information, Gergely Gulyás said. Gergely Gulyás added, all Hungarian nationals around the globe will be assisted if they are in need.
In case the illness does show up in Hungary, the country is prepared to introduce strict measures to deal with it. Family physicians get regular updates and instructions on what to do if someone tests positive. So far, those coming from areas outside of Hungary where people have tested positive and are likely to have come into contact with infected people have been put into quarantine in Hungary. Currently, 18 Hungarians are in medical centers under observation, all feeling fine and symptom-free.
This contains the necessary instructions on what to do if someone is infected with the coronavirus, Melinda Rovát said. Today, every general practitioner received the detailed information on how they can recognize suspected cases of coronavirus. Most say they protect themselves from the infection by applying basic sanitation rules, meaning washing their hands more frequently and coughing and sneezing into tissues. Many wear face masks as well to avoid catching the disease. The pathogens are transmitted through airborne respiratory droplets such as coughing and sneezing. Therefore, we suggest that sick people wear the mask to prevent passing on the infection, Cecilia Müller explained. The chief medical officer said if someone feels like they have a fever and have been to areas where they could have been in contact with infected people, then they should get in contact with their family doctor without going where there are other patients. Call your family doctor, who will then make a house call to clarify the details and will then decide on further steps. Under no circumstance do we recommend going into a waiting room amid other patients, she warned. The head doctor of the National Institute of Hematology and Infectology at South Central Hospital Center said that the virus is not dangerous to young people and to those with a strong immune system. The deadly cases were among elderly patients. János Slavik added, every Hungarian who is kept in quarantine because of perhaps having contracted the coronavirus is well. Some of the students, teachers, and bus drivers have no fever at all. They are healthy. The examinations so far have not shown any sign of the coronavirus. Every laboratory test was negative. 18 people are in quarantine at the St. László Hospital, János Slavik said. The Minister of Human Resources pointed out the Hungarian procedure on the coronavirus is more strict and definite than the usual measures in Europe. Preventive measures are necessary so that no one overreacts to developments, although this does not mean that experts aren't prepared for the worst-case scenario.
And a Hungarian woman has left a Vienna hospital after initially being put into quarantine on suspicion of having the coronavirus. She told public media's news network in Hungary that she'll now stay home for a while, just in case. Furthermore, one of the station's sports reporters, Gergely Áron Horváth, is still located in a closed-off part of Italy. He reports that there's hardly anyone on the street and that most people are staying home.
The results of the test for coronavirus were negative, so they discharged the Hungarian woman who was brought to hospital on Tuesday in Vienna. She was suspected of having the coronavirus. They said that I should stay at home for 14 days in my home in quarantine. I also got an email address. I have to write an email every night about whether I feel well or not, Beata Mihály said. A sports journalist for public media's M1 station, Gergely Áron Horváth, continues to reside near Padova, a mere 50 kilometers away from one of the Italian regions currently under quarantine. He said that there is hardly anyone outside and that those who can, stay at home. As you can see, this stretch is completely empty. Only a few people are outside. No one is sitting on the patios of cafes. There is a school break until Sunday for sure. They will decide on Friday if they will extend it, that is, the temporary closure of educational institutions, Gergely Áron Horváth said. The situation is similar in the other affected area in the Italian region of Lombardy. Streets are empty, stores as well. Only a few goods were left at this supermarket. These visuals were sent to M1 News broadcast by Ibolya Boros. We can't even go to the doctor. The physician pays a home visit to those who request it, to those who are ill. No one is allowed to go to the doctor's clinic. Instructions have been given as to what one must do in such a situation, Ibolya Boros said. The Hungarian crew member who is working on the cruise ship off the shores of Japan and is afflicted with the coronavirus is at a hospital in Japan. Those who requested it were transported home from Wuhan, China. We are following the condition of the Hungarian national from the Japanese ship afflicted by the virus. Furthermore, we will guarantee quarantine conditions for those Hungarians in need who have arrived from the affected areas, Gergely Gulyás said. Gergely Gulyás also said that the 5 Hungarians under quarantine at the hotel at the Canary Islands, on account of hotel guests afflicted with the coronavirus, are doing fine.
Spring is fast approaching, and with it, more and more animal births are occurring at the zoo in Debrecen in eastern Hungary. For example, a baby llama was recently born there. From the front, it looks just like its mom, but from the back, it resembles its dad more. The newborn can now be seen cavorting in a zoo yard with its mother. Plans are for it to stay in Debrecen for at least half a year. And the approaching spring is also affecting some of the inhabitants at Híradó National Park, also near Debrecen. One definite sign of spring is the birth there of Híradó sheep triplets. These are the black-wooled variety, and their arrival actually surprised zoo staff, as well as the fact that the birth of triplets for llamas is about as rare as it is for humans. These animals, endemic to Hungary and the Carpathian Basin, can be viewed all year round at the zoo. And that's all for now, but don't forget you can catch Hungary Reports live every night around 11:20 p.m. Central European Time and in repeats and online as well. Please stick around now if you can for our shows in German, Russian, and Chinese. Thanks very much for watching, and viszontlátásra.